Okay. Just setting everything up here. Cool. Okay, YouTube live. Oop. YouTube live is set up. Let's go to ES here. Okay. Let's open up and get our TikTok rolling. All right. TikTok live is up and rolling. We got music going on that. Let me update this. Okay. All right, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. We're gonna do a quick pre-market prep here. So let's zoom out to our hourly chart. Let's turn off our engulfing candles indicator and just look at where we're at on the hourly. So looking at the hourly here, and I'm gonna pull up my Discord to make my pre-market plan as well. Looking at the hourly chart, price is in a bearish range so price is in this bearish range right here from 7632 to 7411.75. So we're in a current hourly bearish range from 7632 7411.75. If bears are truly in control, we should make new swing lows at 7411.75. Okay, and then we can see here that so was this Monday? On Monday we came up and tested 50% of this bearish range. So bearish range right here, came up, tested 50%, tested our 200 EMA, saw some good resistance, came up and tested the 200 EMA again last night, tested these bearish imbalances right here, and we're seeing some additional selling. So looking to see continued selling strength going to today's session. So looking back at the price action from yesterday and overnight session, price pulled back into the bearish hourly gaps and tested the 200 EMA on the hourly. From this area, we found sell pressure. I want to see bears take control today and push price into new swing lows. So once again, if we are truly bearish in this range here, we should be making new swing lows. Now, let me just take a screenshot of this for the pre-market plan in the Discord. Now, we are kind of consolidating. Well, I mean, we had that nice sell pressure on Monday. Came up, filled a lot of that bearish imbalance, tested our 200 EMA. We'll see if now we're ready to see continued selling down into those swing lows. But, you know, it'll be interesting. We do have a lot of support down here as well, but there are a lot of stacked lows. So we've generated a bunch of liquidity down here that I'm thinking price might want to take out. I don't know if we're going to sweep these highs before we do that. It's a possibility, you know. Some price likes to move in manipulation legs, so we could see price take out these highs right here before we see the sell-off. So I'm going to prep for that. So if bulls are in control today and structure flips bullish during the New York session, I think we could see pressure into the highs at 7524.75. So 7524.75. Want to prep for that scenario if bulls are in control. All right. So I am more confident right now in shorts. So heading in today, I'm more confident in playing moves to the downside due to the bearish structure and how prices below our hourly 200 EMA. If it's clear and obvious that bulls are in control. If it's clear and obvious that bulls are in control, I could see price come up to that 7524.75 high right here from Monday as a manipulation leg and maybe tap into the 618.79 area, so that gold zone in our bearish range. So it's a possibility. I'm prepping for it if that happens, but we filled in a lot of this bearish imbalance right here. So, and we tested that 200 EMA on the hourly chart. I think price is ready to go. It's ready to go, and we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm thinking that we could be ready for some selling into new swing lows today. But we shall see. Patience, patience, patience. All right. Morning. Tell Bodie hello also. Good morning. Morning. Okay, let me post my live link in the Discord for everyone. Okay. Alrighty. Market just opened up. Let's head down into our 5-minute chart and see what we're looking at. All right. Mark out our 8 a.m. open. Right off the jump here. Watching for a retest of this area. Right off the jump. So let's see, let's load in some past session volume profile data. All right, previous day point of controls up there. So let's mark that out, previous day point of control. Okay. Dang, I might honestly put a limit right in there. Is that crazy? Is everyone going to be doing that? That's a huge stop loss. I think I would just put it right there. Oh, sorry, you probably can't see any of that. Looks like we had nice displacement through our 200 EMA and VWAP right here. So nice displacement through it. Our previous day point of control is also up here at 7468.50. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a push up, take this high right here, tap into this area, 50% of this gap that broke through our 200 EMA, and then potentially target new lows. So I might just put a limit order right there, to be honest with you. Let's see. I might honestly just put a limit order there. Yeah, it's coming up. You gotta be quick with this. Okay, what would that be? So we're going to put a limit at 7468.50. It's an 8.5 point stop. 8.50. 5, 6, 6. So what was that? 7468.50. All right. What's up, Preston? Thanks for joining the live. What are you looking at today, Preston? NQ, ES, what are we feeling? What is NQ doing? NQ's breaking above. Taking out the weekly low. This is as far as I've gotten this morning, yeah. I'm bearish as well. I mean, this overnight session, let me just turn this off. There we go. This overnight session was insane. I mean, look at this. Right here, huge move up, move down, back up. I mean, holy volatility during the Asia session. It's freaking crazy. So look at that, came down into the previous day value area low. Good move out of there. Yeah, that was nuts. Kept glancing over at the chart and kept thinking, should I actually turn? Yeah. It was insanely insane. I don't know. It's a 3-to-1 trade. Got to mark out that low. Just looking to see, I'm just waiting for this pullback. If it happens, you know, I want to see, once again, I wanted that high to get taken. But if we take low day here, I don't know, I think it's unlikely. Oh, hello from the reaction. I mean, NQ did what I thought ES was going to do. Like, same kind of setup here. NQ took that high, and now it's selling off. What were you checking out a few minutes ago? Ooh, I don't really know. Session volume profile levels? Probably. Like previous day value area highs and lows. So like session volume profile, I like to extend over the value area highs and lows, because you can see here, here's yesterday's session volume profile. We have our previous day point of control, value area low, value area high. And then if we go and look at the price action from the start of today, or today's session, here's yesterday's value or point of control. Price opens up, tests rejection off of it. I mean, it wasn't like, but you could have scalped like, you know, a few points off of that. Then we came up to yesterday's value area high right here, rejected down, and then yesterday's value area low, which is this line right here. Price literally tested it and then just ripped off of that level. So that's probably what I was checking. Just previous day session volume profile levels of your value area high, value area low, and point of control. Because session volume profile, those levels backed by actual volume combined with price. So actual volume and price, you know, where the most amount of volume was traded, those are actual levels. So I like to look at them, especially previous day ones or untested ones, because they usually are great support and resistance, and they're just nice to have on your chart. So that's probably what I was looking at. But the issue with the session volume profile is it's messy. Like all these lines on my chart, it's messy. You know, you have like all these orange and blue lines everywhere, and then you zoom out and it's just absolute anarchy. So that's the one downside, is it's messy, and that's why I think people avoid it. Is it just like there's just so much going on and it's messy, but I think it's useful. I like to have it on my chart because it, I don't know, it works in my opinion. Like, this is yesterday's value area low right here, and I'm sure that there's maybe like a higher time frame level, but like this thing automatically just is drawing the line for me. And then look at that, price comes down perfectly, taps into it, and then, you know, maybe you wait for like a 5-minute bullish imbalance to be created. Boom, 5-minute bullish imbalance on the 5-minute chart. Take that long, stop below, and then look at this thing. It just went to, you know, nuked. So I don't know. Once again, I'm such a like a long-winded yapper. I don't know if that made any sense, but I'm gonna try to make more like YouTube videos on it, and like try to show more examples throughout, like, you know, when market opens and everything, and make recap videos on it and all that, because I feel like people don't really talk about it. I mean, it's just like everything people talk about is, you know, it's like Powell's strat, like the 10 a.m. open is huge. Like, everyone is talking about it on social media. Everyone obviously talks about liquidity sweep, IFVGs, stuff like that. No one's really talking about session volume profile levels, or like watching how price reacts off session volume profile levels. I think it's just like there's a hole in the trading community where, you know, no one's talking about it because it's like bracketed in with like order flow traders. And, you know, I don't use Bookmap, but I feel like that's where the session volume profile is kind of like bucketed in there. But I think it's super useful. And if you just, like, you don't even need to look at the histogram over here. You just can look at, you know, value area lows, highs, points of control, and then previous day points of control, and then untested value area highs and lows. And if that's all you use with the session volume profile, I think that's all you really need. And it's just going to help you out. Add confluence. So like right now for this area, you know, we've had this big displacement through our 200 EMA. Our previous day point of control is resting right at that area. VWAP is also there. So there's like a lot of confluences there. And sure, price could absolutely rip through that level. But, you know, there's a lot of resistance in there. And you know what? I'm going to give it a shot at that point. And then maybe we take low of day. So, once again, long-winded per usual. But that's where we're at. I like it. I like it. Welcome in NDZ. Just looking at SPY right now. We have our previous day point of control up here, untested at 741.15. But we're below our 200 EMA here. I'm looking at a short, and I still have this limit order down. I still have a limit order down at 7468.50. So I still have a limit order down at 7468.50. Looking to target low of day if we get the strength. So looking to target low of day if we get the strength. But if low of day gets taken, I'm pulling the order. But that's where we're at. We're just gonna give it a shot. We have a bearish gap, and we display strong through our 200 EMA on ES. Previous day point of control is resting up there. 200 EMA is also right there. VWAP is there. So we're gonna just give it a stab if we get there. Once again, if we take that low of day, order is off the table because that's our target. Why put an entry there if our target has been taken? NQ, extremely volatile right now. See where we at with gold. Like, look at this. Here's a good example. Gold's point of control. Yesterday's point of control. Look at how when we're above it, we show support right here. Tapped it perfectly, showed support. And then now we broke below it, tap it, showing resistance. So previous day point of control right here. So good examples on gold there. Well, too little, too late. Looks like we're not going to get filled into that trade. Yeah. Darn. Well, there goes low day, pulling that trade off the table. We just go straight to target with no pullback. Yeah. I mean, it just, there it goes. I mean, that's been the tale of this week. We've opened up, and then it just goes, sells off, and then chop. So, what are we going to do now? I don't know. But there goes target. I mean, beautiful break under our 200 EMA right here. And then, you know, I just wasn't, the trade happened there. That's the trade. But, you know, we weren't on for that. That's why you need a trading bot to take all of the trades for you. So, that's it. If it fills that 1 minute IFVG, I'll go short. What's NQ doing? Yeah, dang. It's just, this is just the tale of this week. Is when it goes, it just goes. And if you're not quick enough, if you missed it, then you missed it. And we missed it. SPY breaking the orb. Prop reverse and close green by like $9. Yeah. So there's low of day taken. That is not worth it. Dang. I mean, here's NQ. NQ had better manipulation. And then maybe on like, so for NQ on this pullback here, and then immediate rejection and close back under that 200 EMA. I feel like the entry would have been right at those gaps that high. And just let it ride. But, you know, it is what it is. I just hate when it's like, you know, now we're so extended past VWAP and the 200 EMA, but I don't like playing reversals, so I wouldn't be comfortable if like if we show support to take it back up into there. I just, right here was the trade, and you know, it happened at 8:40 Eastern. You know, that's when the trade happened. I mean, we got another test right here, but It's just annoying when that happens. Yeah, and it's gonna go right to that swing low too. The swing, I swear, every time I'm like watching a level, I'm like, we're in a certain structure or what have you. I'm watching a level. I'm like, okay, this swing low, I've been watching it for the past 2 days. And then literally, it always like happens in a way where it just moves quickly and I miss it. I swear, every time. It's always like moves quickly, miss. Yeah, I mean, here's our 1 standard deviation band of VWAP. Like, we're probably at the 2 standard deviations of VWAP. And we're coming down into, this area where we've been finding support, but our swing low, we're in a bearish range, so this could just rip down into new lows, which I've been watching. And once again, I've been watching it for all week, and it's probably going to hit without me, which is annoying, but it happens. Shoot. I'm short tight stop loss targeting previous week low. I like it. Finally downloaded what do you call that, like the Logitech app to fix my camera, so now it doesn't autofocus on me. So when I'm shaking my leg, I don't know, it's how I release my trading anxiety. You shake your leg, now it won't get all fuzzy, so we won't have a fuzzy camera anymore, which is a win. Testing that 5-minute gap right now. Some risk 25 points for 22 points. Yeah, not happening. Oh, it's just so far extended. Maybe. Am I chasing? Do I chase if I do that? Questions we ask ourselves. I mean, so getting rid of this. So we're going to make this broke from our orb with this gap. No. Oh, sold off perfectly from that midpoint. Ugh, bro. There's the reaction. Pullback entry. Marking the high and the retest of. Okay. To get in on the pullback. I think that was the pullback right there. Filled 50% of this gap. And now we're reacting off of it. Let's see if it'll take that swing low. Looking like it, yeah. I hesitated. Literally hesitated. Yikes. It's like broke out of the orb, 5-minute gap, below 200 EMA, below VWAP, seeing good displacement, 50%, perfect tap of 50% of that gap. And now it looks like we're going to go down into that swing low. everything is just dumping. Nice. Good re-entry. This thing's running. Dang. One more shot at the pullback, maybe. Just took the low, so I took the low. And now it looks like we're trying to bounce. Potential for, like, you know, a manipulation to take out these shorts. No, it's going. It's going. Take the weekly. 7411.75. It's gonna rip at it. It could just explode through it too. There it goes. Nice trade, dude. Nice trade. See if it just rips through it. Dang. Hesitation got me again. Right here. Passed on it. See if it goes to a 2-to-1. But, you know, 1.4-to-1. It's not a bad trade. Just get nervous. Nervous taking continuation plays when we're so far extended. But you just got to know better. Right now, the market is in like a cycle where when it goes, it just goes, and it's sharp and it moves sharp. I just got to keep that in mind. So, it is what it is, I guess. Might retest orb. That'd be crazy. Be a crazy pullback. Yeah, everything's just so far extended. GC's acting weird with these huge gaps in price. Way too overextended to get in. Need a noon reversal to jump into the downside. End of day move. But I could see that. I mean, off the rip, it was overextended. Like, taking a trade here while it's so far below the 1 standard deviation band of VWAP, it just has me nervous to do something like that. Maybe if like our 200 EMA was right there, I'd feel a little bit better, but taking that trade, I don't know. It's hard for me to do that. The best example would have been just that we broke through the 50-minute opening range with that bearish gap, taking in the bearish gap for an orb play. But once again, just feel like more often than not, I don't know, those overextended plays eventually they get stopped. But today it worked, and I should have just been more conscientious of the current market conditions. So when can't even use the EMAs. Yeah, it's going quick. It's going quick. YM came down into a bunch of previous day points. So like here's a previous day point of control that remained untested, and a bunch of value area low and a high. So YM might test 52110, so it might test right here, and then we could see a push up. The downtrend to get smacked when taking the short. Yeah. Agreed. Which then, you know, maybe you just gotta like tell yourself or focus on the fact that use your better judgment, use your psychology, and just to be okay, just, you know, hands off for today. But, you know, I'm going to be on for another hour. Yeah, the Fed meeting coming up, create this rip, potentially. PCE tomorrow as well. So, I think, oh. Yeah, with that meeting, I don't know, which makes me think that, you know, with the meeting today, the move could be done. Like, we could just chop for the rest of the day at these swing lows. We could just chop. So I don't know. Oh. I could go for a sausage egg McMuffin right now with an orange juice and 2 hash browns. Sounds good. It's a McCafe coffee too. Sounds like my hangover DoorDash order. Yeah. It's the best. It's literally the best. You gotta get 2 hash browns because one goes in your sandwich. So you gotta have 1 hash brown in the sandwich and then the other one is your side. There's nothing, and then 2 for sure, yeah. And then I'll stand by it. McDonald's coffee, elite. Same with their orange juice, elite. Sounds good though. I'm hungry. I gotta stop talking about it. Dang. $200 stop loss is crazy. Yeah. I feel like we've been waiting for this. Here's the weekly chart as well. Like, these huge gaps in there. Yeah, there's just no support. I mean, there's some support right in here, but not a lot of support. I think we probably pull back into like this general area. It's like the 7,000s area. Sorry, you probably can't see any of that. Potential to pull back to that's like 7,000 area. These huge weekly bullish gaps right in there. Yeah. Those big weekly gaps start at like around 7138. So like with an iffy interest rate decision, if they like, something goes down today, could see a dub for the next, couple weeks. Or, a couple tweets and some stuff like that. A couple tweets and this thing rips down. And then a perfectly timed tweet. Once we're in here, a perfectly timed tweet that just then price goes to new all-time highs. It's kind of how the market moves these days. Moves in tweets. So we're gonna have some negative tweets come out. We're gonna go to the downside, and then a positive tweet, and we're gonna make new all-time highs. It's crazy that two thumbs and a smartphone fluctuate trillions of dollars in the stock market. Crazy. Two thumbs and a keyboard and a post fluctuates millions of dollars. What a world, what a time. If we can get some sort of response here on YM, we just tested a previous day point of control from Friday, last week Friday. If we can get some sort of gap here or show some sort of strength, I might play along into, we'll just try to scalp it. What's gold doing? Yep, here's my mock gold trade into VWAP. Don't even know what it tested down here. Should we throw it down on some paper? 3 gold contracts. Throwing it down on some paper. Alright, where's YM? So, we'd like to see that hourly close below here. So we have about 30 minutes left on that hourly. This just sucks. Once again, YM Friday's point of control, testing it. Let's see if we get a reaction off here. YM's kind of the only futures name right now that's testing a key area for me, so we'll see if we get a reaction. But everything is very bearish, very overextended past VWAP. Thinking we could see a pullback here, but we're waiting patiently. Cool. Gold, paper trade long, it's risky. Waiting. right? Like the move happened, sold off, now consolidation until the interest rate decision at 2 Eastern. So that's what I think is going to happen here. So we are just chilling. Just chilling. Oh, nothing. I guess while we're waiting, we could whoa. None of the signals or strategies are working today. Yeah. kind of there with you. So what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna go back in time and just look at previous trades. I don't know, there's not much else to do right now. I'm gonna have periodically check back in, but we're just gonna look at previous trades on just all we're gonna look at are EMA breaks. So today, right here, EMA break with a gap, take a short, printed. Here we kind of had a gap down. We didn't really break. We're kind of testing here. Broke with a gap. This one was tricky. But right here during last night's Asia session, we had this nice. So we had a break. We had all this large gap right here. So you could have said, boom, 50% printed. Here we go. Here's another one. So there was no gap on this break, but we had a gap on this break, very small in there. Nonetheless, a gap. Yeah, this one printed last night. I remember watching this go down in Asia session last night, where we kind of opened, dumped down to that 200 EMA, and then we had this little tiny gap right in there, and I was like, I bet you it's gonna tap that and just go. And sure enough, tapped, and this thing ripped. Let's see, at its height, you know, around 40 points. Crazy move. During yesterday's session had me confused, but here we can see we had a break above the 200 EMA. Gap. Let's see how far did it print. Did we get a 2-to-1? Printed 2-to-1. But, you know, probably would have just something like that. 1-to-1, maybe held runners to 2-to-1. This is interesting. There's a lot of little tiny scalps in here. Break with a gap. Short. How far did this print? I probably would have targeted something. I guess it went 1-to-1. Here, broke above with a gap. Long. Stop below the low. Printed, what did we print? 2-to-1 there. Nothing, no EMA test, no EMA test. Here we go. Boom, break below. Tap in. This printed, what was this? Yeah, Monday. This Monday printed. See, no test, no test, no test. Here's a break, but price never came back in. Here we go, where it's testing. I mean, theoretically, or tested, this probably would have been a loss. Now, honestly, you would have looked over here. Here's the break with the gap. And then, boom. And then break to the upside with the gap. This would have been a fat stop loss. But nonetheless, probably would put it around there. What does this print at? 1.5. It's probably a target, a good target area on that. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Here we go. Here's a gap below. This one kind of lost right there. That was an L. But quickly flip that around. Gap break above. Boom. Stop. 1-to-1 at those highs. Went up to a 1.5-to-1. This is like that high frequency scalping that I need to get better at implementing into my day-to-day trading. Like, now I wish I could be up at 2 in the morning trading, but I guess that's not a possibility. Here it's testing, but here's the test. Gap here, there's a gap here. Boom. Printed. Oh, here's the real gap right in here. This is the real deal. To the T. Print. I mean, we do have a gap above here that you potentially could have taken a loss, but so here we go again. It's a break with a gap right in there. Entry, stop, target, 200 EMA, 200 EMA, test, break with a gap, short, stop above the gap. Let's see, maxed out at, what is that, a 6-to-1? Probably would have just, runners would have probably been at there, which is 4.5-to-1. But once again, that's a 5 in the morning trade. Tricky to play that right there. So we're looking again. What else we got here? I mean, here's the test. Here's the big gap right there on this test, which, you know, we then came back in and sold off. Test. No real gap there. This never tested. All right, here we go. What do we got? This is an actual New York session. Yeah. Came down, tested that area, choppy. First gap created was right here off that test of the 200 EMA, which regardless, you take it, stop below, worked, printed a 2-to-1. But, you know, honestly, you probably would have taken a loss here on this, trying to play this short. Yeah. Here's a nice little trade before market open right here. Oh, this was the day where we had triple equal highs. Yeah, you probably would have not tried to take a short there, but there's that. Let's see here. Here we go. Here's a entry signal. Break above with a gap. Long. Stop. Print. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Here's a test. Created a gap. Never pulled back into the entry. You know, on this leg though, on this sell-off leg from that 200 EMA, we did create this gap. The price did hold. You know, you could have done something like yay. Something like that. This is a PM session trade. Oh, but yeah, looking back at our session here. Crazy. This is a crazy choppy session. No gap. No gap. No gap. Came back into this area. And then we had a little tiny one right here. So we could have gone like, there's a small one right there. Stop above. Target the lows. All right, what we got? Nothing, nothing, nothing burger there. This gold trade definitely not going to work. Yeah. I feel like we're going to chop the rest of the day. But we're going to keep looking back at past examples here of just breaks with gaps at that 200 EMA. They print. I'm telling you, they print. And this is the 5-minute chart and the 200 EMA. I'm telling you, that's all you need on your chart. And it's just like right here. Here's these gaps right here. This is what broke through the 200 EMA. I mean, we showed support, but I don't know if that seems like a gap at 2 a.m. Don't know if I would have used that per se. Here we go. There's a loss in there. Here's a good trade though. Two to one. Did you get a short on ES? I did not. I hesitated. Right here, there's this 5-minute gap off the opening range break. I hesitated on it. It's going to be a trade down into the swing lows. It tapped it and then went. And I just, going into that trade, I didn't take it because we were so extended past VWAP and our 200 EMA and basically just opened and dumped. And it's been doing that lately, and I should have been a little bit more conscious of that and taken the trade once I saw it, but I didn't. And, you know, hesitated on it. So, did not get that short. Which, you know, regret it now. It'll go in the missed trades journal for sure. So missed the trade, and now I'm just going in and looking at past days and just how price action is around the 200 EMA. It's a weird day right here. This one we had that was a broken engulfing candle entry right there. 200 EMA broken engulfing candle entry, printed for around 1.6 to 1. Yeah, I put a note in my journal saying I was too focused on the low. Could have gone back up. Yeah. I gotta just, I don't know. I gotta trust myself more. 500 of it. Good. I'm glad someone, I'm glad people are printing off today. I just you gotta be more confident in the setups. It's hard though. But also, like, I don't know. You know, I think there's an element of, yes, I probably should have committed to it, but there's also an element of maybe, you know, it's fine that you missed it. You know, we were just super extended, and did I see something like that happening? Maybe, maybe not, but the setup kind of happened like at, what is this, 8:40 a.m. So I wish I was on for that, because we had this really nice break with a gap below our 200 EMA. The real trade right here. So here's a break below with strong gap, you know, target TP1 low of day, and then, you know, you hold your runners to that swing low for 3.7 to 1. That is what I think the real trade was today on ES. Gap below VWAP and 200 EMA. Retested at 8:40 Eastern. And then take profit 1 low a day, take profit 2 that swing low. I do it too. If I held longer, I could have caught more. Also, no trade is a good trade. Yeah. And like I said here, the setup kind of happened when I wasn't on. You know, it was before New York Open. We kind of, you know, opened slow, and then right at about 9:45 a.m. Eastern, it just started dumping. And we had this nice gap break of our opening range, but we were so far past VWAP, and it was below the 1 standard deviation, and I don't usually like to take trades if it's below that, and, you know, that's a signal to me that it's overextended, so I just passed on it. And, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but oh well, happens. I'm in this paper gold trade. Let's see if this prints. But now we're just looking at past days and past trades. This day probably would have lost a lot of money Friday, unless I would just have taken that trade, and that's it. This chop right here, I feel like I remember this day, and people were just getting waxed. Here we go. Test of the 200 EMA. Break right here with a gap. Oh, does it not come up? Taps it barely. Probably wouldn't have gotten entered into that trade, but gorgeous nonetheless. Let's see what else we got. Oh, excuse me. Test. Here's a gap on the test of that 200 EMA. Got close to a manipulation out, but printed down. So again, so many of these trades happen at like 3 a.m. telling you, if we just didn't have to sleep, I think we'd all be okay. We'd be printing money left and right. Here's a gap created on that 200 EMA. Break, enter, print. This is all on the 5-minute chart, by the way. And see here on this test, I mean, we found support, but no gap. Right here as well, support, no gap. Just didn't have to sleep and just trade 24/7. It's probably people that do that, honestly. People that get, like, they sleep for like 3 hours from like market close. They sleep for like 3 hours and they get back on and trade again. Just animals. Here is another entry. You never got entered into that trade though. So here's a retest. First gap presents right here. What did this print to? 2-1. That's nice. Test. This is like, you know, goodness gracious. That would have been a bummer. I probably would have done some shit like that. 5-1 or 1.5-1. Yeah, we still have the interest rate decision at 2. So I think it's going to be fairly sideways for the rest of the morning. So it's going to be fairly sideways. This was the trade today. I didn't take this, but this was the move. Happened, I mean, the entry was at either 8:40 a.m. Eastern or right before market open. Literally the candle before market open. But then, you know, we just dumped, opened and dumped down. Yeah, everything's kind of consolidating now. Hit my zone and I got off. I only wanted to be on the charts for 1 hour. Yeah. I feel that. I mean, same with me. Like, I kind of, you know, I'm on the charts doing pre-market prep and the move happened right here at about, you know, 8:40. Then market opens and dumps down to low a day and then the swing low. Yep, yeah. All week, Chino, all week. It's just been open, dump, and like taps into the zones, and you know we miss out on it. No entry, didn't even retest the orb. I know, dude, it's just brutal. This week has been. I feel like it's gonna be like it as well. You know, with there's so much more room to the downside, and whenever things sell, it just happens like that. It's just like boom, sells quick. You got to be quick. And I feel like I know that, but yet I still, you know, can never capitalize on it. No. No. Fuck. Sorry. Bodhi, come here. Come here. Always off the open, and I never trade the open. Being burned too many times. Agreed. Agreed. Been watching flow on the semis, and they are buying a ton of calls and writing puts. Huh. So think you're gearing up for something with the interest rate decision today? Could get a squeeze. Also with PCE tomorrow. Sit. Wait. Sit. Wait. Break. At least the top of the daily range we've been trading in for 2 months. Yeah. Look at that. True. I mean, the sharp move up, classic, just consolidate here, and then we could see that dump down into like potentially 7,000, and then new all-time highs. Obviously, with perfectly timed tweets, we'll get there, but yeah, we've been in this range. I mean, this is kind of like the way of the market. I don't know. It's just this consolidation, and then boom, huge reaction, news happens, reaction, and everything like that. It's the top of the daily, I don't know. Yeah, there's just not much. Caught it at about I guess retested. I don't know, maybe gold sees a little bit of an upside move here. Where are we? Back to scrolling back in time. It's another tricky day. Here we go though. Here's a break below 200 EMA. the gap. Retest the gap. Take a short. It's printed nicely. Once again, these are like all trades at like 2 a.m. though. Who's trading at 2 a.m.? Bots. Bots are trading at 2 a.m. This has been a tough day. Testy probably would have, I don't know, I definitely would have taken a loss there. But then showed support here. But yeah, this day was so tricky. Best kind of trade though is right here. Later in the session. Could have been conscientious of equal lows right there. Which maybe I would have. Probably not though. All right. What do we got here? What do we got here? Break. Break with this gap. What is this? Did this print? What did this print? Not even a 1-to-1. Probably would have taken an L there. Here we go though. Asia session trade. Break below. Here's our gap. Short. This is crazy. But here's the retest. Break with the gap. It's kind of a large stop loss. 1.5 though. Hang on a second. Yeah, we're for sure just gonna chop. For sure just gonna chop. This is like a classic interest rates day of like move happens right away and then we're just gonna be like this. And then, you know, we might see a reaction. But that is all I'm seeing. it's been a frustrating week of, the moves happen so early and you just miss them. But a good test of, your patience and discipline to like be able to, I guess just wait. This would have been a frustrating day. Test broke with the gap right there. No entry. So we go down into Asia session here. It's a test. Say we start. It's a tricky day. No structures, patterns to play off of. Yeah, it's just consolidating. Expected that after that move, especially with, interest rates today and everything. It is what it is, though. But yeah, with that being said, the move happened. I don't think there's anything more for at least me to do for the rest of this morning. I'm just gonna not play any of these trades. The move happened. Day's kind of shot. We'll see what happens with the interest rate decision at 2 p.m. Eastern. Take a peek over at the charts when that happens. But as of now, move happened in the morning. Beautiful sell-off into those swing lows. Hourly closed below, so that means that hourly structure played out. So if we look at this, we zoom out and look at this before I sign off. Let's see here. So if we just look at this, there we go. Zoom out. So on our hourly chart, broke this low right here. And then this was our swing low, and we broke it on the hourly just now. So we are creating our new bearish range, is what I'm seeing. So bearish structure played out, pulled back to discount here, 50% right here. Saw a nice sell-off, held below the 200 EMA on the hourly, and made new swing lows. So bearish structure definitely in play here. We'll see if it continues on, and we continue to sell off and have a deeper pullback. But yeah, that was all for today. No trades. Again, the move happened in the morning. We missed it, but that's okay. We'll be back on the charts tomorrow to see what we can get. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow.